is Sharana from Payorwait, and today I'm going to be reviewing and recapping American Horror Story Season 12, Episode 1, Multiply Thy Pain. Alright, for those of you who might not know, or if you haven't been watching any of my live streams earlier this week, your girl tested positive for COVID, so this is honestly the first day that I've had a resemblance of what my voice once was, before someone was punching my body for 5 days straight and clawing the insides of my throat, so I still have COVID. So bear with me through this review. You might get a couple of sniffles, you might get a couple of coughs, but hey, I've been fighting for my life, so y'all can deal with some cough through the screen, okay? All right. So, now that I'm back in the land of the living, I was able to watch the first episode of American Horror Story. And so I'm going to give my quick overall thoughts of how I felt about the episode. Overall, like, the episode's fine. It's nothing memorable. Like, there was nothing like, oh my gosh, this happened that made me keep wanting to tune in every single week. But I'm going to give grace because it's the first episode. But 41 minutes. So y'all just going to keep all y'all do is take. You take 5 minutes here, okay? And then it's a 55-minute episode. And then it's a 50-minute episode. And then y'all have the audacity to make it a 41-minute episode? Where my 19 minutes, Ryan? Huh? Where's the other 19 minutes, Ryan? You lucky you can't get the business that I really want to give to you because my throat is a little raw still. Just you wait till I get my voice fully back, Ryan. It's over for you, okay? But I will say the most, like, if MVP of the episode was a person, it's actually Kim Kardashian. I know what y'all about to say, like, Sharon, I know you're not saying that Kim Kardashian is the MVP of this episode, but she was. Like, her character, Siobhan, she is Anna Victoria Alcott's publicist. They met during IVF. They were in an IVF support group. And I have to say, with her crazy one-liners and her just saying stuff as it is, like, I would say that her character was the most enjoyable from the episode. I mean, that doesn't say a lot because we're just learning information about who all of these people are. We don't even really know their roles or what they're going to play in the overarching theme of the story. But I have to say, Kim, she took it this episode. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all can come for me in the comment section. I don't care because I said what I said and it was the truth. I don't care. Whatever. The episode was just okay. It wasn't given like, oh, I can't wait to tune in next week. It's just like, okay, well, when come on next week, if I remember to watch it, I'll watch it. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all thought about it. The story seems interesting. I do like the themes on how women have to balance so much. How women are often seen and not heard, especially in medical situations. We hear Anna talking about how she's in pain after procedure and they brush it off like, you'll be fine, kind of like you make it up, which is something that a lot of people go through. I know even a lot of people my age are starting to understand that, like, it's not okay to have cramps on your cycle, but, like, no one taught us that. Or when we say we're in pain, how that's not normal, and is your body trying to tell you that something else is wrong? And so I like that we see kind of what Anna, who's already scared because she feels like, you know, she internalizes, like, why am I broken? Or, you know, concerned that her husband Dex is not going to want to be with her because she can't have a kid. But I'm like, Bishu said it was your fault. Maybe it's his fault. But I like that we get to see her struggles between her her career's taking off, but she's also trying to be a mother and be a wife and how she has to balance all of those different roles. So I like that there's a lot of nuance to it. If you just listen to some of the dialogue or what's happening or kind of what Anna is going through, I do like what they're actually introducing into the season. But I just felt like overall, from an episode standpoint, there wasn't enough to make you want to keep tuning in. And I think that that's an issue that I'm seeing across all platforms, especially with TV shows. It's like people expect you to keep watching even when there's nothing eventful happening. And when there's so many things on TV, maybe not right now due to the strike, but when there's so much to watch, you have to come out the gate swinging. And I don't think that they did that for this episode of American Horror Story. But let's go ahead and get into the recap before I lose my voice again. So, you know they finna be on some ish when they open up with a Bible verse. And this is probably like, if there is ever a verse or like just a chapter or a story in the Bible that I argue down with anybody, it is always going to be the story of Adam and Eve. Okay, and when they are kicked out of the Garden of is it Eden? Garden of Eden? Sorry, Lord, I've been backsliding a little bit. Don't strike me down, Lord. But yeah, I always argue about this. So they start with Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. And now you know, unto the woman he said, I will multiply thy pain and thy conception. In pain thou shalt bring forth children. So this is, Eve eats the fruit of the tree, which God said don't do, and they're banished from the garden. And therefore now they know that they are naked, and they cling to be clothed. And this is when they're given their punishment, which is really, it was Eve's punishment. Eve got most of this punishment. I'm just really confused as to what was Adam's punishment, because they both got kicked out of the garden. They both now knew that they had knowledge of them being naked. I don't see Adam giving birth. I don't see Adam having no pain. And last time I checked, I'm going to say, let me have this rant real quick, okay? Let me get my little drink so I can do my rant. This is what I be having to tell people. Because last time I checked, Eve came from Adam's rib. And the Lord told Adam to watch over Eve. So if Eve ate from the fruit of the tree that she wasn't supposed to eat from, it was supposed to be Adam who was supposed to be watching over Eve to be like, hey girl, don't do that. Let me ask the Lord to give us our own fruit that we can actually eat. And since he didn't do that, it's Adam's fault. And I said what I said. And not argue anyone about it. I don't care. Because it's the truth. So I'm trying to figure out why I got to have pain in my cramps. And why I got to have pain bringing these big-headed children into the world for something that Adam did wrong. Okay? Every time they start talking about that, it made me so mad because they be getting, y'all be so loud and so wrong, but that's beside the point. Let me go ahead and get back to this because I'm finna get mad all over again, okay? So, the episode opens up, she's sleeping in bed, getting that good sleep, and she in her rich little penthouse or wherever the hell they live in, and then you see a little hand come over her stomach, and I be like, oh Lord, I want what she got. But then I realized that's not her man hand, because then she looked like, hold on, this ain't who I think it is. And so then they jump up, and I'm like, am I in a movie? Like, I really thought that they was about to like yell cut, because all these crazy mistakes that Anna was making, but no, this was real life. We see this, she runs out trying to, like, I don't know what she was doing, because like she was chasing after them like she was gonna be about that life. I was like, get him, Jade. But like, no, she wasn't, because she stopped, and I was just kind of confused. We see that she ends up waking up again, and there's blood all over her hands. There's this ripped picture of embryos, which we later see is the picture that Dr. Hill gave her. And so I'm like, oh snap, who did she kill? Like, what's going on, y'all? So then I was like, oh, this is getting good already. But then it cuts to a week earlier. And I was like, dang. So, we see that she has a husband, Dex, who is played Matt. If y'all know Matt, that's my Boo Carey from The Good Wife, or also to Gilmore Girls, or also to The Resident. It just depends on what time period that you came on to Matt. But just know he's still that dude, and he still can get it, Matt. If you married, I'm sorry to your wife, but are you happy? Do you need a mistress? But that's besides the point. So he's calling Anna, and he's like, hey girl, where you at? Like, we got our egg retrieval appointment. She's like, it's not for another hour. He's like, dude, you gotta be here an hour before the appointment. So she's rushing to get there. Now what sent me is she's like got less than 10 minutes to make it to this appointment. And then she stops because she's an actress and she sees a billboard of herself on the street. So she stopped to take a picture. And I was like, now sis, you could have waited. You could have made sure the car took you back to go take that picture. But after you had your egg retrieval, I was just like, I know Anna did not just stop. Because if you miss the appointment, you got to start the process all over again. It's a lengthy process, and it's a very expensive process. But they got it, so I'm sure she don't care about that. She finally makes it to the appointment, and she's talking to her husband. She's like, but what if I'm broken? Like, and I'm just like, who said it was you? Like, is this proven fact, or is Dex shooting blank? Because I just feel like a lot of times when we talk about infertility, we mainly focus on women being infertile, and we never focus on how it could be a male issue as well. So that really bothered my spirit, and I was just like, how you know Dex not shooting blanks? I'm just saying. But he eased her fears, and he was just like, we're gonna make it through no matter what happens. And so we see that when they're starting this procedure, it just looks so creepy. it's American Horror Story. I wouldn't expect it to be anything less than creepy. But Dennis O'Hare pop up as her doctor, who his character's name is Dr. Hill. And I was like, oh, he the villain. Because, like, I already know if it's Dennis O'Hare, very seldomly is he playing a character that ain't a villain of some sort or ain't guilty of something in some way, shape, or form. So the fact that he's playing her doctor, I already don't trust Dr. Hill. And he pissed me off because after he does the procedure and he's like, we got dying embryos, he's like talking to her husband, like, oh, we're gonna get it this time. I'm like, why are you looking at him? What work is he doing? Like, why you not talking to her? I was just really confused, and she was really confused, and so I just thought it was weird. But what sent me is when this old creepy lady, Miss Preacher, pops up on her. I'm like, first of all, back, give me 50 feet. You way too close to my face. Sit up here talking about you know me. And she's like, oh, you must have saw me in a movie. And she was like, bitch, ain't nobody seen your damn movie. That's not what she said, but I'm just saying. But I was just like, I thought that but you know what? They said she not famous like that. So I was like, I thought you probably would have like had them close the waiting area down so nobody would be in there while you're in there. Cause you showing me spreads of you like on the cover of magazines and stuff. So I was just thinking that you was that it girl, but it don't seem like she that it girl yet. So, and she's coming out of, my nose is getting so stopped up. So I know you can tell my voice changing. So as she's coming out of the doctor's office, we see someone who's played by Carr's character. We don't know what character Carr is playing, but we see this lady who looking like a bad bitch, but like a creepy bad bitch. And she's like staring at her, but like, you know, she mentioned something to her husband about it. Cause I think she also saw her when she was coming out of her little apartment earlier in the episode. And he was just like, girl, ain't nobody, like, you not famous enough for nobody to be stalking you. And I was like, some of the comments that Dex be making, like, baby, you might be fine. A lot of the comments that you be making, it just don't be sitting right in my spirit. So when he was sitting there like, well, you're not famous to be stalked, but then he was like, yeah, I was like, you better fix it. Because I'm looking like, girl, cut him loose. Like, absolutely not. Say some mess like that to me again, and it's a chop for you, all right? So they end up going out to eat. And they're like, you know, they're being cute again. I'm still side-eyeing him because of that whole stalker comment. And they're coming up with baby names. Now, she said Treya. And I was like, girl, Treya? What? Like, that is, no. I was like, that's not cute to me. But they're having a cute little moment. Now, we see that the doctor gave her some, do you call them suppositories? Whatever, they gave her some stuff that she needed to, like, insert up. I said, no, she brave doing that over a toilet, because I would have been a person to drop it in the toilet. But that's just me. She's in the mirror, and then she starts, I guess she sees a gray hair, she starts pulling, and it keeps going and going and going. And I said, hold on, girl, is that a spider web in your hair? Like, what is going on? But she look at it crazy, but she not too fazed by it. So then we're introduced to Kim Kardashian's character, who is Siobhan. And when she says, when she's like, it's so exhausting being better than everybody, I said, girl, let them know. It's just so exhausting being me. And like, y'all basic hoes won't even know what it feels like, okay? I thought she was funny. But she plays her publicist. They both met getting IVF. And she's kind of talking to her. She gets her this interview with Andy Cohen. But it's conflicting with her, like, with the embryo transfer, if they find viable embryos. You know, but basically, you know, she's trying to get to what she needs to do with her career. Siobhan has her, like, sign all these dials. There's, like, this one dial that somebody sends, and she wants them to sign her stomach. And she's like, girl, what? Like, they want me to sign her stomach? She does it, but then the doll ended up in her bag somehow. I don't play with dolls. After Tales from the Hood, one of them little dolls who was, like, murdered during slavery or something, and they came back and attacked that white politician. I don't mess with dolls after that. I don't play with that. That and Pinocchio's Revenge. So when the dolls started popping up in different places, popped up in the green room later, burn the doll. I'm moving. No. Don't bring no dolls in my presence because I'm not here for it. So they do need to work on these edits because I did see, like, for the ADR they're doing, the voiceover work they're doing, Kim's mouth wasn't even moving. But Kim is obviously talking. And I was like, honey, maybe y'all shouldn't have been rushing through these strikes and y'all should have had a seat because y'all got to work on some of these edits because the edits wasn't edited in this episode. So we hear about Adeline, who we find out is Dex's first wife. So we learn that there's this tragic accident that happens and how she died. And so we know that Anna is having a rough time because she kind of feels like, does he really love me? Because if she wouldn't have died, he would still be with her. And then when he was like, she was the love of my life. I said, hold on, I had a power flashback when he was like, I lost the love of my life. And I was like, what? And then he was like, until I met you. And I was like, you know what? I don't like Dex. I don't like him. He just makes too many crazy comments that I just cannot continue to let slide. So he fixed it, and then but I want to know how she died. It seemed like when I could read some of the headlines, like there was a fire or something that happened, and she was a chef. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out later in this season what actually happened with her. So Anna asked, like, you know, why didn't you guys have kids? And he was like, we just didn't plan for it. And then they're sitting there talking, and he pulled a spider out of her head. Now, she better than me, because if he would have put a spider out of my head, I would have been running all over the park, like back and forth, screaming, yelling, if somebody found a spider in my head. But that's just me. So we see that when they come home, he sees that the medicine isn't in the refrigerator, because we hear the doctor saying that she's supposed to put the medicine to make sure it's effective. You're supposed to leave it in the refrigerator. So once again, this is like kind of tied into how she's having these like lapse of time, loss of memory, just all these little symptoms that are happening, which, you know, he's kind of just attributed to the stress of what's going on in her career and the stress of trying to get pregnant. So we see later that she's going to have dinner with Dex and his friends Talia and Theo. And as she's walking, first of all, I was like, how's nobody on the street walking with you? I just thought that was weird, but I was like, I'm going to let this slide for the sake of letting it slide, but it didn't make sense. You hear these high heels walking really fast, coming close to her, but then she turns around and there's nobody there. I would have just Ubered after that. You already think it's a stalker, and you still just walking the streets like, girl, it's like you want to get kidnapped. It's like you want to get stalked. Haven't make sense for me. So Dex and Anna, they end up having dinner with Theo and Talia. I can't stand Talia. She just don't know how. If there's ever a person that don't know how to read the room, it's Talia. So Talia just ends up bringing up his ex and then talks about how the new artist that they're working with looks like his ex. So I'm sitting here like, what? Anna looking like, huh? Dex looking like, dang ho? Like, you just gonna mention it? Like it's okay? Like, girl, read the entire room, because you're obviously not reading it. So she ends up going to the bathroom because she gets upset. And she calls Siobhan, and she was like, hey, do you think that Dex is still in love with his first wife? She was like, girl, she dead. And I was like, Siobhan, you knew what she meant. Like, why would you say that? We know the girl dead. R.I.P. But Talia comes into the bathroom, and at least she came to apologize. But then I had to backtrack, me feeling like okay about her again, because then when she makes a comment, I don't understand who would want to have a baby anyway. You know they're struggling to have kids. Why would you say something like that? But before she leaves, she ends up seeing these shoes in the bathroom stall, but she just lets it go, and then she goes back. They end up getting a phone call saying that the embryos, like they found 2 successful embryos, and then she moves the transfer to Friday because she has, like, Watch What Happens Live the day before. Now, Dex did look at her crazy, and I looked at her crazy too, like, sis, either you trying to have a baby or you trying to get a career. Unfortunately, like, you try to make both work, and I just don't see how that's going to work out in the long run. So then we see that she asks Dex later, like, hey, like, is the new person, Sonya, that you working with, does she look like your ex? And he was like, no, but I was like, I know that whole line, because he just been questionable the entire episode with all these little backhanded compliments that he's been trying to say. It just hasn't sat right in my spirit the whole time. So while they're sleeping, she pulls up the article, but then she sees her calendar change, and it moves her transfer appointment to a later time. So she thinks that someone's hacked into her thing. They don't want her to have a baby. She already saw the negative comments about her on the article that she was looking at. So she calls Dr. Hill and changes the appointment again. So she's preparing for her interview or Watch What Happens Live. Siobhan is helping her. And I was like, Y'all know that outfit was ugly. Why would you put her in gray? It didn't make no sense to me. She was not giving what she should have been given. But it seemed like she started killing it on Watch What Happens Live. But then she saw a glimpse of what she thought was Miss Preacher in the audience, and she kind of froze for a moment. But Siobhan tells her, like, hey, she still did good. Like, you still, like, I can't remember. Oh, she said, like, you were so much better, like, on Hillary Swank if she was having, like, a good day. And I was like, girl, what? Now, what did Hillary Swank do to y'all? Even how they mentioned Tom Sandoval, it was just a lot happening, a lot of shade thrown, which was sending me the entire time. So when she comes back to the green room, then she see that little doll. And I was like, oh, hell no. They had an X on the stomach. I said, absolutely the F not. But Siobhan just, like, brushing this off like, it's okay. So when she come home, she feels like someone's been in the house. The time of the new appointment is, like, ripped up on her, like, thing. She called Dex, like, hey, where the F you been? He was like, bitch, I'm in my opening. Like, what are you talking about? I told you about this. You said you didn't want to go because you was doing this. Once again, she's having these lapses of memory. What if it's the suppositories that they gave her that's making her have these lapses of memory? I don't know. Just thinking while I'm recapping. Okay, so we see that when she ends up saying that she's going to go to the opening, when she gets there, it's like press. She sees Kara's character that we don't know Kara's character name yet. We see that she sees his character once again, but when she gets inside, this is where the real tea starts. This is when I was really like about to fight Dex. I'm gonna come through the screen and fight Dex myself. She get there, she look at this painting, then this hoe come up. I'm sorry I'm calling her a hoe, but like she's like stalking her and stuff, and she's like his ex, so I got an issue with her already off jump, okay? Sonya comes up to her, she's like, I used my own menstrual blood for this. And I was like, girl, now what? Is that, huh? Okay, did I need to know that? Probably not. So she looked down. First, she looked at her face like, hold on, bitch, you look like Adeline with a wig on. I'm like, I know you see it. And then she looked down and she see the shoes, and it was the same shoes of that hoe that was in the bathroom stall when they was at dinner. So I'm already about to fight. Then Dex come up and she like screamed because like, why you grabbing me like that anyway? If you could tell I was upset over the phone. So they kind of get into it, and like she's like, don't start with me, like not today, sir. But then they get a call where they go in, and then basically they go in and they see that she actually does have, it's a picture of the embryo that she sees at the beginning. Like he tells them that like, hey, why am I stressing with this? Okay, they're about to do the transfer. I'm really struggling with this. So the next day, because the opening happened the night before the transfer, she goes to do the final transfer of the embryos. He takes a picture of the embryos that he's going to be putting inside of her. And then when she's getting the nightshade, she like sees Mrs. Preacher again, but then she wakes up and she realizes it was a dream. Now, when she thought somebody was in the house, when she pulled the knife, she also saw Mrs. Preacher as well. So Dex did look cute. He had the picture of her and her mom when she was like, her mom holding her when she was a baby. In the picture of the embryo, like they were watching over you, and he was waiting for her to wake up. I was like, it's cute, but I don't trust you, not one bit, in one way, shape, or form. You still trash to me, Dex, okay? But you still find it, you get it. So, then we go back to where we find ourselves at the beginning of the episode, but she wakes up, she sees the blood on her hands, but then we realize it's not blood, it's lipstick from the lipstick that Talia gave her when they were in the bathroom at dinner, when she was being disrespectful. And she looks down, she sees the ripped up picture, but then she gets an alert sent to her calendar saying, check the mirror. Now, if I see some shit saying, check the mirror, I would have been up out of that penthouse. But I was like, girl, you need to figure out what the heck happened in your house first. She looks in the mirror and it says, don't do it, Anna. And then it's like written on the lipstick and her thing, and the episode goes off. And I was just like, oh, okay. I want to know who it is that's telling her not to do it. I would love to know the connection. Like, is it something with Dex? Is it Sonya telling her don't do it? Did Dex have something to do with his wife's death? I don't know. But I know I don't trust that whole Dex, okay? Because he's been saying too many crazy things, shady things, backhanded things to her this entire episode. I'm over him. He still can get it. But I'm over him, okay? So I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know this. I cannot take another slow season of American Horror Story. I'm going to tell you that right now. It cannot be slow like this. I can't do it. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. You know I'm going to do it. We torture ourselves every single season. But I'm interested to see where the season's going to go from this episode. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that Matt got something to do with it. I mean, Matt, that's his real name. I know Dex got something to do with it. I know Dr. Hill got something to do with it. I don't trust Siobhan. I definitely don't trust Talia, Sonya, none of them, okay? Can't nobody be trusted, all right? But let me know in the comment sections below, what did you think of this episode? Was it giving, beautiful gown? Was it just giving cute style? I don't know. But it's only the first episode, so I'm going to give episode 2 another try. Let's hope this first part of the season is going to go faster than what we've seen in previous seasons. But before I start hacking up again, because the back of my throat is tingling, those are my thoughts on American Horror Story Season 12, Episode 1, Multiply Thy Pain. As always, my name is Sharana from Payorwait. And if you like this today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit that notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.